Yes, we are live everywhere. Yes, here on the webinar platform and also on our YouTube channel. So welcome everyone. My name is Olena Gryniuk. I'm CE Director at the SM Banking Club, and I will be your host today. And today we speak about open banking and open finance. So let's discuss whether this brings a revolution to the market as everyone expects. My guest today, Kamil Gosławski, Senior Key Account Manager at CRIF Poland. Welcome, Kamil.
Hi everyone.
Yes, before we go to the topic, let me very shortly mention the organizational information. So our webinar is planned for 45 minutes. We start from the presentation, and then in the second part of the webinar, we will have time for a Q&A session. So we'll be ready to answer your questions, and please type them in the chat whenever you have them, even during the presentation, and I will be able to read them all afterwards. And we are recording this webinar, so right after we finish, you will receive the link to the video and also the presentation. So let's go to the topic and let's discuss this new updates of the PSD3 and Open Finance, which in other words gives some expansion from access to payment accounts towards the access to other types of financial data. Kamil, I'm passing over to you. So let's see what is the situation and status quo here on our market, and let's discuss what's next. You're welcome.
Okay, so thank you very much, Olena, once again for the invitation. Once again, I'm very glad that I have such possibility to share some thoughts and some opinion from our side, from CRIF side. And today I want to share a couple of information about the open banking and some kind of, let's say, evolution to open finance. Because we can observe that the starting point was the open banking, and then we are moving maybe not very fast, but we still continue to move to open finance. And maybe couples about the agenda. I will try to describe shortly the definition of the open banking and the open finance, and maybe somehow I will try to link the correlation between open banking and open finance, and maybe show some kind of transformation of that kind of data sets. And then I will try to indicate benefits from the customer side and also from the industry side, from the fintechs, from the banking lending sectors. And maybe to practice a little bit, I will share two use cases from CRIF's perspective, how we implement mainly the open banking solutions, but I think that, of course, it could also, let's say, change to the open finance solution for our customers. So, at first, as I mentioned before, what is the open banking? It describes a practice of financial institutions sharing data with regulated third-party service providers via secure APIs. And at the moment, CRIF is the third-party service providers. And we also cooperate with our customers in case of open banking. And I will try to also describe the use cases at the end of my presentation. And the service providers use APIs to access customers' account data and initiate payments all with the customer's consent. Yeah, because that is crucial that every let's say movement need the customer consent. And what is the main goal of open banking? It is to create greater financial transparency and provide customers with better access and more control over their financial data. So basically, that is the, let's say, short brief. And we can indicate 3 types of the services in case of open banking. The first one is ICE, Account Information Service. The second one, PIS, Payment Initiation Service. And I can mention that CRIF have the both of the possibilities of that service, because we as a CRIF have a license for ACE and PIS services. And also there is third service, maybe not some, let's say, obvious for let's say market players. That is CAF, confirmation of the availability of funds. That is also opportunity, and let's say the solution in the open banking, let's say, portfolio. And let's say the open banking will gain us to get access to the accounts, and that could be the different types of the accounts: the foreign currency accounts, the savings accounts, credit card accounts, and also business accounts. So that is also worth to mention. And what is the possibilities of use? The customer, the end user, let's say, can use open banking via banking web portal or mobile application, because we know that on the market there is a split between the web applications, for example, the banking sector, and also for the mobile app. And the customer, the end user, can get the insight into a balance and history of transactions, or make the transfers between the accounts. And from the, let's say, financial institutions point of view, the open banking, let's say, can be useful for creditworthiness, to check creditworthiness of the customers, and also to identify the customers. But as I mentioned before, the crucial is the consent of the customer and the end user, because we cannot, let's say, do anything without the consent. And maybe also based on, let's say, CRIF's experience on not only Polish but also the European market, we can show the use cases. And in the first one, open banking is used to apply for a credit product, and the customer may consent to the bank in order to get the account history in a different bank. Yeah, so that is the quite obvious business case to using open banking. And it's helpful because, for example, in case of whole credit procedures, it can be much quicker and easier to use open banking solution than, let's say, go through the very legacy processes on the, let's say, banking side. And the second use case can be when the open banking is an alternative way to confirming customer identity using a verification transfer, because we know that, for example, still some banks use that verification transfer to identify the customers, and we can change it, because open banking also can be the solution to identify the customer. And instead of making of transfer confirmation identity, the customer can log into her bank's account and agree to send a feedback with data to a different bank or other financial institution. And maybe a couple of facts and couple of numbers in case of the SMEs, because based on the market analysis, we can observe that SMEs banking segment is undergoing a deep transformation, and there is a couple interesting facts. 79% of SMEs would change their payment provider if they found a cheaper solution. So I think that it's quite important to remember it. 63% of SMEs consider speed of shipment to be the most important issue, of course, apart from the costs. And 74% of the SMEs in EMEA plan to expand into another country over the next 5 years. Why I mention it? Because I think that from the, let's say, service provider perspective, and also the institution, the financial institution that want to support the SMEs, support the customers, they have to notice this. And I also prepared the table that you can see on the chart at the moment, and I try to specify the leaders, of course, from the banking industry, because of the fact that in Quiff I generally cooperate with the banks and insurance companies, but I'm trying to focus at the moment on the banks, and I try to specify based on the Polish market who at the moment is the, let's say, the stronger performer in case of open banking solution providing for the customers. And we can see the 5 very strong providers, the banks on the Polish market, like Ilor Bank, PKO, Santander Bank, and ING Bank, also including Millennium Bank, that have almost the every possibilities to support on the web portal and mobile app with the ICE services and PIS services for their customers. And also we can see that we have a couple of additional players, banks like mBank, BNP Paribas, PKO BP, the biggest PKO in Poland, and Best Bank, that also propose some capabilities for their customers in using the open banking solutions. Yeah, so I also did similar work last year, and to be honest, there is not some magnificent changes even during this year, but I think that on a Polish market is quite good to know that we have in our banks such capabilities. And now I will try to switch on the open finance. And open finance is the next step of open banking and works on a much larger scale than open banking. I think that it's quite obvious, and from my perspective, I think that the open finance is like a natural transformation and natural evolution of the open banking. And also we can observe that trend on the not only Polish, but also European or global market. And it could allow authorized third-party service providers to access a wider range of customer data from various accounts, including savings, pensions, investments, insurance, mortgages, and more. And this data could be used to create and offer more personalized financial products and services, of course. And the main goal of open finance is similar to the open banking, and mainly it is providing customers with more control over their financial data. And to be honest, I think that open finance will affect various of sectors, and we can observe that from the banking industry, lenders, insurance companies, but also other payment institutions is very important topic. But I think that also the fintechs, the new technology companies also will be interested in the open finance and the capabilities that provide for them, and maybe new business cases. So I think that there is the main sectors affected by open finance, sorry. And from the, let's say, more practice perspective, I'm still focused on the banking industry. So the open finance will make banking quicker and more efficient. And I think that it will be, let's say, very important topic from the banking side, because having access to all consumers' financial data in one place will be, let's say, some kind of game changer. And of course, when we will collect every other data sources like taxes, investments, mortgages, and insurances, for example, data, it will be much more efficient and much more, let's say, scalable for the banking sector. And the second area is the better personal financial management. And through open finance, consumers will gain access to more insights about their financial standing, and having all the different services and their overview in one place will allow consumers to make informed financial decisions. So I think that it's also worth to highlight. And this will be especially beneficial to users with low financial literacy and provide them with more data-based and personalized resources, which will help to make informed decisions. Yeah. And on that chart, I try to, let's say, show the evolution and the transformation of the data sets. And as we can observe on that chart, the smallest piece is the open banking data, and it includes payments data, savings and loans, and others. And the bigger sets, including open banking, is the open finance, and it also include the data like insurance, taxes, on QIC data. And the biggest data set is open data, yeah, and that is including open banking, open finance, but also additional informations. And we can, for example, mention the emails, the social media, the health data, and so on. I think that it's good to mention about the ways of data sharing, because open banking, open finance, it's connected with the data sharing between the entities, and it's good to describe what is the current most, let's say, the most important ways of data sharing. And the first one is the screen scraping or credential sharing. And it required customer to share their credentials like username and password. And I think that maybe it's not the best way to sharing data, but it's at the moment also the way of sharing data from the financial institutions. But to be honest, it's less secure than other ways. And I think that maybe in some future it will be not applicable because that lack of the security. The other way is whitelisted IPs, whitelisted IPs, and it allows the financial institution to sanction data sharing with specific IP addresses and see who is accessing their customers' data. And it's, of course, more secure way, and I think that it's quite a good way to sharing the data. And the last one, the most common, is the open finance APIs, and it allows customers to access their transactions data without the need to share any credentials as username, any usernames and password. So it eliminates the technical burden of screen scraping. For example, Creve as a company and third party service provider do not using the screen scraping and credential sharing at all. We based only on the APIs in case of connection with the external services and the financial institutions. So I think that it's the best and the most secure way to share the data. And now I want to move to the benefits of the not only open finance but also the open banking, because as we mentioned before, the natural way of evolution from the open banking is to open finance. And the main benefits are the improved user experience to automate money transfer between various accounts, better financial management and holistic view of finances by providing various financial information in one place, improved business efficiency and more effective payments method, and more innovations and competition. And I think that that new capabilities will increase the competition and drive innovation on the market. And maybe a couple of words about the benefits from the consumer customer side. But before, two important facts. 89% of consumers agree that they own their financial data and share and should be able to control who has access to it. And the second one, 55% of consumers agree that they aren't sure what companies or providers have access to their financial data. It could be surprising from one hand, but I think that it's also good to remember that figures, that numbers. And what are benefits from the consumers, the customers? More choice and control over the data they share and how they engage with their finances. Unparalleled access to a broader range of products and services. And the last one, more easily connection with the various financial accounts and data together into a single view. And going further, benefits from the financial institutions and the fintechs. I think that the most important and maybe the crucial, maybe because of the fact that Creve mainly cooperate with the financial institutions in the risk and fraud area, is the first one, because based on the open banking and open finance, we can improve fraud and risk management. And I think that it's very important. Then we can more accurate customer profiles. We can also improve, let's say, better customer experience. So it's also quite important for the financial institutions. Personalized services to make sure that we will have, let's say, some additional knowledge about our customers, and data-driven decision making in case of, let's say, collecting data, and based on that data decide, for example, how to segmentize, how to improve products for our customers. So basically that points are the main benefits. And now I have two use cases based on the experience of Creve, rather on the global on the global view, because it's not the project from the Polish market, but from other countries. For example, the first one, there is a multi-country project for Germany, Italy, Portugal, and France for the automotive company, and we've implement the open banking solution, and it's connected with personal law approval through web portal and credit worthiness assessment. And we can observe that let's say implementation that kind of solution can very let's say change the view of the organization and improve the processes and have very positive impact to the business. For example, we can see that for that automotive company, we can observe that there was reduction of the in the 40% of the rejected requested, and also we can observe the benefits like increase for the 60% profitability improvement in the process, and also we can observe that there is a reduction of the 40% time saved filling the application form, and also we can observe that there was improve on a level of 35% on the conversion rate. So it's quite good. And I think that, as I mentioned before, the open banking, that is the first stage for the companies to improve their processes, to improve the knowledge about the customers, and it will move forward to open finance solution. And I think that CRIF will be also ready for that kind of new opportunities. And the second use case is from the Italian market, and we implement the project for the marketplace, and that is a comparison of 3 solutions like digital onboarding, open banking, and financial management solution. And the idea was to let's say somehow support customer with the frictionless onboarding process, and it was also focusing on the SMEs customers from the SMEs let's say portfolio. And I think that also we can observe a couple of interesting benefits. For example, increasing on the 77% onboarding conversion rate, increasing the on the 45% cross-selling ratio, and also, for example, we can see that customers with aggregated accounts on the platform was almost 100. So that is the main benefits from that kind of projects that that we can somehow share with market based on our experiences. And to be honest, from my perspective, that is all. So thank you very much for attention, and I think that we can jump into the Q&A session.
Yes, thank you very much, Kamil, for presentation. Great one, as usual. So yes, let's get to the Q&A session, and I invite all the attendees, please type your questions in the chat so we are able right now to answer your questions. And my first one will be, the first one will be from my side, Kamil. So as we all know that so my question will be divided into two parts, let's say. So first, if we talk about the PSD2, right, which was should have been implemented from 2019, right, as the directive. But what we see now at the region, if we talk about SME customers, so we, based on our analysis and studies that we do, that here in the CEE region for the business customers, and this is mainly was implemented for the sole entrepreneurs. So this account aggregation that you mentioned in your presentation is implemented only by 8 banks in the online or mobile banking channel for business customers, and like this should have been kind of obligatory thing. Now, when we came this year to the PSD3 and these open finance regulations, what is your feeling? How the pace of the PSD3 and open finance implementation will be happening here in the region?
I think that from the market perspective, as always, maybe somehow we think that that kind of changes will, let's say, have very strong effort for the market, for the service providers, from the, let's say, even the customer's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, when I try to go back to the past, to PSD2 regulation, it was some kind of, let's say, careful standing from the financial institutions. They want to, let's say, better understand the current situation. They want to implement the solutions, but maybe not in so wider scale. They want to, let's say, improve some business cases, that it will be, let's say, easy to monetize, but somehow maybe it wasn't so easy for them, because as you mentioned before, we can see that on the Polish market we have not even 10 entities, 10 banks that offer the service like ICE or PIS.
Yeah, but for consumers, the situation is a little bit better, of course, because this is, faster to implement almost everything for the consumer customers. Yeah, it's better, but for the business customers, it's kind of.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also we can, for example, observe that from the business entities, from the business perspective, banks, for example, use the open banking solutions to have a, let's say, more efficient process to get loans, for example, to use the connection via open banking to, let's say, check the history payments, to check to identify the, let's say, the entity. So maybe that could be some additional service for the SMEs, but it's not, let's say, so big scale, to be honest, because of course the consumers have the more volumes, to be honest.
Yes.
And maybe because of fact that the scale is bigger for the consumers, so that's why the banks focus on the first stages for the consumers, but have some couple of additional services for the business. But to be honest, even the PSD2 regulations and open banking solutions wasn't so huge revolution on the market, because from my perspective, also as a service provider, as a CRIF, we can observe that there is some kind of careful, let's say, standing from the financial institution, and I think that it will also affect for the open banking, for the open finance, that the financial institutions like banks, lenders, and others firstly will, let's say, want to move very carefully to maybe better understand how the situation, how the market view, the expectation from the customer side, the technical possibilities, for example, to integrate the data, because we have to keep in mind that in one hand we can create the business case, but in the other hand we have to also somehow build the whole IT stack, the whole integration between the different data sources. So of course it's also very important. And for example, in Poland there was also in the open banking solutions, there was initiative to create the Polish API standard, and there is also a couple of other standards on the whole European market. But somehow it wasn't so magnificent, to be honest. And I think that it will be, we need, let's say, wait a couple of maybe even months, years to make sure that it will be profitable for the market from the customer perspective and also from the financial institution.
Yeah, I do have a feeling then fintechs, at least here in Poland, in the context of the business customers, are using this PSD2 regulations and asking, with the consent, of course, of the customer, the access to the transactional data. While the banks, when applying for factoring, for example, while the banks, are often asking, please attach your statements from the other banks. So yeah, it's a little bit of situation when the banks are becoming, a data source provider and not using these opportunities very much. Though, I mean, as everybody invested in the open banking infrastructure, which is obligatory, right? So the next step is just to think how to monetize it.
Yeah.
I also heard an opinion that with the PSD2, with this, let's call it in a simple words, that this prolonged terms of the consent that the customers can give. So as for now, it was like 6 months. Now it should be longer. So this will maybe accelerate the usage of the open banking.
Yeah, I think that we have to observe the market. We have to observe the old trends, because there's the PSD2 is still the new regulation, yeah, and how the legal environment, the even technical environment is still in progress. So of course we have to let's say keep posted and make sure that we are in line with everything. But I think that financial institutions will need some time to get some first impression and some first feeling how to manage it, how to monetize it, and how to create the strong business cases for themselves and also for their customers.
Yeah, and for SMEs, I think this is the open finance regulation is a chance actually for this financial inclusion, because if the data about like almost all the transactions will be open, and it's predicted, right, that this third circle, especially that you showed with the open data, that there will be open data aggregators, like it is now in India, for example, that if we add to the PSD3 also the upcoming regulations of the e-invoicing, right, so this data, so this will become obligatory, and it will be a structured data also available. So this means that in future, all third-party providers will have access to actually the whole data about a business customer, right? So the transactional data, financial, invoicing data, and it means that can offer a very personalized offer to the SME customer, not having all this data into their ecosystem. So you shouldn't be a bank, honestly, anymore if you have access to all the data on the business customers.
Yeah, and also I think that there is a case of, let's say, some kind of lack of trust from the customer perspective, from the consumers, and also maybe even the business entities, because the amount of the data, the volume of the data that, for example, some providers can have is so magnificent that also it can be some kind of scary for some of people. So maybe there is also needed to educate the market
Yeah.
to make sure that everyone will understand properly what does it mean, the open banking, the different sources of the data, and the secure of the data sharing, the integration between the institution will be so, let's say, hard that there is no worries to some security issues.
Yeah.
So also I think that as a whole market, we have to educate everyone to make sure that it will be like an opportunity,
Yeah.
to improve the user experience, to improve the solutions, to improve the services.
And I think this is maybe more negative narration is happening in the context of consumers when they cannot control which data they share or which data is used by the players in the financial market. But in the context of the business customers, I think this is just the change of the way they deliver the data about themselves. Because if we just think about that, so when you apply for a loan that says an SME customer, well, first of all, you need to provide your transactional data, right? From all the banks. So this is your manual job to upload the PDF statements, first download, then upload, so you do it manually. You anyway deliver this, but you do it manually. Instead of now, you just tick yes, I give a consent, please take my data, which you anyway deliver right now in the existing process. The second thing is financial data. For the financial data, at least in Poland, all the yearly financial statements are publicly available for companies, right? So everybody actually, so the yearly annual financial statements are sent by each, let's say, limited company to the court, and then everybody can have access on that. And this is also used by the financial organizations because this is public information. So again, this information already exists. This is used, but just the form of how I, as SME customer, can again give a next consent not to do this manual job, but just to let this be done by technology. It's just a thing that education should go this way, that you provide this information anyway. This information, especially for enterprises, are available. This is just the simplification for SMEs, the way they can access the financial services and receive much more offers based on their data than they have now. So this is just mainly the question of the education.
I totally agree.
All right. I see we don't have questions, so let's wrap up then the webinar. Maybe the very last question to you: which tips would you give to the banks, the open banking? Yes.
I think that the main tip from my perspective is to discuss with the market in case of service providers, in case of let's say different perspective from the different sectors, because based on our experience in Kyiv, we can see that even not so obvious industries, like for example automotive, can improve their services. They can improve some kind of additional services like financing the cars, for example. It can be a very nice feature. It can be a very nice addition value for their customers. And I think that the sharing the experience, sharing the knowledge about that kind of service like open banking, open finance will, let's say, just or improve our knowledge and our statement, or even, let's say, have a positive impact. Yeah, so I think that it's good to talk and conversation with to have conversation about that subject, because we can learn something about it.
And looking forward to the next implementations, I guess. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kamil. Thank you very much, our attendees. Thank you.